Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duckbricks. I'm Chris, and our LEGO Masters prize money has finally arrived. We've been waiting for it, and it just got in, and I figured why not do a video talking about what exactly am I going to be doing with the $50,000 prize pool that I got on my end, because of course, it was split between me and my teammate Rob. This is really exciting because I have had a lot of plans on what I wanted to do with the LEGO Masters prize money. I talked about it a little bit in interviews and on the show, but I figured why not dedicate a full-on video to it, and let's jump into my plans right now. Okay, so just as a recap as to what exactly the LEGO Masters prize was, we won not only the LEGO Masters trophy, but in my opinion, the even cooler prize of getting our final build turned into an official LEGO set, which I'm proud to say is coming very, very soon. Stay tuned to the channel for more updates on that as it releases, as well as our final build being displayed in the New York flagship LEGO store, and $100,000 to be split between the two of us. So $50K for me and $50K for my teammate Robert. Now, obviously, a fair bit of this money actually went over to taxes because obviously winnings are taxed by the government, so a lot of that did go to taxes. But as far as what remained, I really wanted to put together this video because it is one of the most common things I am asked, even on random videos that have nothing to do with LEGO Masters. People ask me, what did you do with your prize money? And at meet and greets, I get asked this at a minimum of like 10 times. It's probably 20. But everyone wants to know what exactly did I choose to do with my LEGO Masters prize money. And so I figured it might be interesting to actually put out a video talking through some of the decisions I made in terms of where I put the money, where I invested it, and even where I donated a lot of it to charity as well, because that's something really important to me. I'm going to start off with some of the stuff that I'm actually doing with Robert because I feel like that's actually kind of the most relevant to what we're building together on LEGO Masters. If you watched any parts of the show, or if you know me, you know I'm an entrepreneur. I always am working on some sort of startup or side venture here and there or side project, no matter what it is. Pretty much even before college, in high school, I started my first startup that got a lot of traction. It was actually really exciting because I was just a sophomore in high school and Bill Gates commented on my startup, which was the coolest thing ever. And I think that really propelled me into wanting to make more startups in the rest of my life and seeing like, oh my goodness, as a high schooler, if I could do this, what else could I be building in the future? And so I have a lot of fond memories. I founded my first startup in 2017 at this incubator program called MIT Launch. And I made some of the closest friends that I've made to this day. We formed that together in the in-between years between junior and senior year of high school. And actually, one of those people is actually someone I'm working with on the current startup, which I use some of the LEGO Masters funds to. So things are really coming full circle. But after that, we were able to actually sell that to Holiday Inn. It was basically this B2B sort of check-in, check-out, clock-in, clock-out software for HR solutions platform, all sorts of different kind of very technical in the realm of that sense. But after we closed that out, we actually were able to be freed up to start our own venture in college. And freshman year of college, literally the day that I met Robert, he came to me and we were both kind of tossing around ideas as to maybe we should enter this hackathon or maybe we want to be building something out together. And I remember the first thing he said to me was, Chris, you do realize that co-founding is like marriage. If we decide to co-found this, we have to be fully committed. Mind you, I never met this guy. I never met this kid. Dude comes up to me and is like, co-founding's like marriage. Are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, you know, that guy's kind of silly and goofy. Like I kind of vibe with that, you know? Like I feel like that's an entertaining personality. Yeah, let's get hitched. So basically what we did was that myself, Robert, and a couple of other friends got involved in this startup called Pillbot, which I've talked about a little bit on this channel, never really gone into detail. If you're curious, I've linked some videos about it in the description below if you want to learn a little bit more. But what's crazy is that with Pillbot, we actually were able to win that hackathon, and it was literally the first week of college, and went on to be featured in TV with it, and actually were able to land some clients. So it really, really blew up from just freshman year of college, and we proceeded to spend the next 4 years of college pretty much just working on it. When COVID hit, Robert stepped down, kind of took his cut and started working on his own stuff, whereas I kind of kept the flame going with some of my other friends, and we were able to close it out at the end of our senior year. year in 2022. That's when I graduated college. And that was a really, really crazy experience. I think I learned a lot. I made a lot of mistakes along the way, a lot of failures. And I think that really kind of was a test bed for when I was in college. There was almost like a cushion where we could fall back on and fail. And even if not everything succeeded, I was still in school. I was still learning. I could always go back to school and just keep on doing stuff. So it was really the right time to be building a startup. And Pillbot, just a kind of one-sentence description, was basically this smart mini pill dispenser for highly addictive medication, which not only dispensed according to the exact prescription, but actually monitored the data as to when patients were taking medication. They could press and hold the button to force dispense, which basically knowingly means that they're taking outside their prescription regimen, and that data could be opt-in to send to their doctors, so their doctors could prescribe better prescription regimens in the future. And it was a really ambitious project, and there was a lot of red tape and regulation, and I feel like going through that journey really taught me a lot about what it takes to build a startup. I think we pulled a record number of all-nighters. We were working day and night, round the clock on building this out. I switched one of my degrees because I did a dual degree program called Management and Technology at UPenn. So one of my degrees was Entrepreneurial Management at the Wharton School of Business, and the other degree was Computer Science, and I was doing a lot of coding. But we needed an electrical engineering person on the team. So I was like, all right, guys, I guess I'll switch. So literally halfway into college, I just switched one of my majors, switched my engineering major, got into electrical engineering, still somehow managed to graduate on time, even though it was my schedule was a lot tighter than a lot of my friends, because all the computer science classes I took in the first year were not really useful at all for my degree. So I was like, all right, well, we need one. I'll take the hit. I want to learn this stuff anyway. Very hands-on, very much circuitry and wiring, and I love Lego, so I love building stuff. That made sense for me to do. But yeah, it was a really, really good lesson. And so anyway, flash forward to Lego Masters, and frankly, Robert and I had always kind of tossed around the idea of, it'd be really cool to do a startup together again, because when we graduated college, he was no longer involved in Pillbot. He was kind of off doing his own stuff. We both kind of independently got a job working as program managers at Microsoft in very different teams. It could not be more different. I'm right now working on the cloud and AI division on stuff like Copilot and some really exciting Azure related stuff. And Robert is working on the social good team at Microsoft. So we're doing completely different things. There's never a chance for us to meet in our workspaces, but we ended up working at the same company, at the same role of project managers. And we thought, okay, well, we have some pretty similar skills. We also have complementary stuff. We should do another side venture together. And we had tossed around the idea a lot, but obviously we went into Lego Masters not expecting to win, much less go past the first episode. We went into it expecting to just want to have a good time and be entertaining. And that's kind of why we came up with the villain persona on Lego Masters, because we were like, look, we're never gonna win, so might as well have fun, might as well be entertaining. And so we kind of came up with that whole villain shtick, and we had so much fun doing that. But then as things started getting serious by the final few episodes, we were starting to think, well, we might actually have a chance. And lo and behold, we actually were able to make it work, which is still kind of mind-blowing to me right now. But then we had all this money from the prize, and also the money just came in. Like at the time of recording this video, which is kind of mid-2024, it just arrived because there's a big delay in after the final episode airs to when the money actually arrives. It takes a lot of processing time. So we didn't actually have any money yet, but we were like, we should actually build a startup because we've been talking about it, and now we have funds coming at some point that we can use towards it. And the craziest thing that happened is that so many things just happened to line up correctly. And I feel like that is something about the startup world and being an entrepreneur. Things will just line up and you will just get lucky. And a lot of it does boil down to luck, where I was sitting in a bar in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was out there for kind of a founders meetup, sort of in-person networking session where you could meet CEOs of big companies and COOs, and as well as kind of founders of smaller startups and companies. I was just there to meet people. I love meeting folks. I'm an extrovert. I get a lot of energy from meeting people. So I was like, I'll go and meet some people. And I happened to meet this guy, and he was telling me about how his company, which was one of the world's largest food manufacturers, was facing so many issues in understanding supply and demand, and as a result, were throwing out tons and tons of food, hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars worth of food that they made, but just didn't sell, and they had to throw out every single year and every single quarter. And I said to him, I said, look, no offense, but if your company is this huge food manufacturer, even I don't follow food. I know who you are. I've seen you in grocery stores. Like I've seen your logo in grocery stores. How is this such a big problem? How do you not have a smart solution to handle this? And he turned to me and said, well, it's a little bit more complicated than you'd think. And he was right. But the next thing he said was that, well, can you think of something to fix it? And I turned to him and I said, well, give me a month and yeah, probably. And so this was literally a week after we had finished LEGO Masters. I had just returned, getting back to the grind, getting back into Microsoft, and I had just jumped into this other crazy adventure. And I didn't even initially start it with Robert. I started it with a friend of mine, a really close friend in college who also worked on Pillbot named Srisa. Srisa is currently a trader at Jane Street. Every single day, Srisa manages $4 billion worth of trades. He is probably one of the smartest people I know. And his specialty is AI and data and really understanding data and demand trends. So I was like, okay, I gotta get this guy on this project. So I call up Srisa and I'm like, look, man, it's a long shot. But I met this guy. He's the COO of this company. I can't say what it is. But we have this opportunity. And it's an opportunity that I don't know if it's ever going to result in something. We might spend months going into it and have it turn out to be nothing and they decide not to go with us. But he seems cool. I like his vibe. And I feel like we could do business together. And Srisa, thankfully, despite his incredibly busy schedule, was like, yeah, I can set aside some time to work on this with you. And Srisa is probably the hardest working person that I know next to Robert. He literally goes to the office every day at 6:30 a.m. He leaves the office past midnight, and he works weekends. So to get this guy on call, that meant I had to shift my own schedule to be available between the hours of 1/2 a.m. EST, because he's in New York, all the way up to 6:30 a.m. EST. So Srisa just wasn't sleeping. I don't know when he sleeps. I still don't. I think he gets like 4 hours a day, if that. I genuinely do not know when this man sleeps. Like, I always say I don't sleep that much, but like, let's be real. Like, I get at least like 5-6 hours every night if I can. This guy, don't know. No idea. Because the fact that he's still functioning and alive is a wonder to me. It's one of the wonders of the world. But anyways, we were working literally all nights, just every single night. After I finished my work at Microsoft, I would immediately call him up and we would work throughout the night and just be doing research. And essentially, we conducted enough research, myself and Srisa, with this company that they actually awarded us a contract to do some more research to actually figure out how to build out a project. And then I was like, okay, if this company actually wants us to physically build a solution to their problem, we can't do this just the two of us. We're killing ourselves doing this. I'm not getting any sleep. You're not even, like, if I'm not getting sleep, you're getting negative sleep. We gotta have someone else. And who do I know that's willing to work like crazy, insane hours, as hard as he can, and jump on a completely random project on an absolute whim? My boy Robert. You know, it's just like LEGO Masters again, except this time we're jumping into a whole new industry. So I call up Robert and I'm like, hey, look, Srisa and I have done the groundwork. We have a contract lined up, but we need your help to build this out, and we need the help of my other friend Zach as well, who I worked on with my first startup in 2017. And of course, Robert is down for anything. I mean, you call the guy up and you're like, dude, we're going to, like, I don't know, Europe tomorrow on a cruise. And he was like, yeah, okay, I'll come. So Robert's down for anything. That's why he's a bro. So we bring him on the team, and this was after like already 6 months worth of research I'd done with Srisa and building up this company. And so together we all kind of started up Augur AI, which is this smart data forecasting startup. And I can't get into too much more details because obviously a lot of it is tied up in red tape and NDAs, but it is looking really promising. I'm super excited to see where it's going. And the great thing is that because Srisa and I spend all of our nights doing this research internally within the company and figuring out all their pain points, we're kind of at the point now where we could take a little bit of a step back and then let a lot of our engineers, like we actually hired a team of engineers to build out the project and make it as perfect as it can be. So then what we figured is like, okay, Robert, how do you feel about actually putting in a portion of our LEGO Masters money, again, all of this tying back to the LEGO Masters money, into this startup? And we said, yeah, why not? Let's do it. So we actually were able to allocate a percentage of the money we had won for LEGO Masters. We literally just threw it in the bank account of the startup. Srisa, obviously, he's a Jane Street trader. He's making like stupid money. He like doubly matched us, so that was not a problem. And so we all put in the money in, and now we're sitting on a good amount of funding for Augur, which we can use to hire engineers, to do a lot of promotional material when we need to be able to actually have support 24/7. So whenever our clients have issues, there's someone support on call to be able to address questions. And so that was fantastic. And we were like, okay, well, we've already gotten a ton of contracts from Augur. So now we've put in money from LEGO Masters, and it has now been paid back tenfold. And now we're like, okay, well, now we're sitting on all this money. Well, we could just invest it in stocks, which is probably not a bad idea. Or we could just sit on the money in our accounts. But why don't we do something crazy and use the money towards the next thing, right? Because Augur is now running itself, basically. I'm still hands-on, like acting as CEO and kind of fulfilling all of that responsibilities. But we have our engineering teams building it out. So I'm like, okay, we got some more time. Why stop? Let's go on to the next thing. And so one thing led to another, where the next portion of the LEGO Masters prize money is dedicated to a project that I'm really, really excited about. I'm actually building it out with Srisa, so it's the two of us spearheading this project. And this is a pretty top secret project as of right now. There's a lot of really exciting stuff going on, and I'm not exaggerating here. There's stuff going on that I think is bigger than LEGO Masters and is really, really huge in some pretty exciting parts of different industries that people would never expect me to be in. Unfortunately, I can't say anything more to that end. But what I can say is that it is called, and that's all I can say right now. And there's some preliminary artwork, and that's all I can say. That is it. I hopefully will be able to talk about it a little bit more later on this year. There's some really exciting things coming out, and yeah, that's all I can say. It's super exciting. I'm really excited for what we're building, but as a result of that, it's eaten up a lot of my time. And I have been realizing that I'm spending more and more time on that versus other stuff in my own life. Obviously with Microsoft, it's my day job. I go in the morning, I'm done in the afternoon, and I dedicate all my time to Microsoft during that time. But as soon as I'm out in the evening, I'm now working on and really trying to build that up. And it's a lot. It is a lot because that means that every single waking hour that I spend not working on Microsoft is spent on this. But it's really exciting. So that's really cool. I can't wait to share more later on, and definitely stay tuned because hopefully I will be sharing a little bit more. I don't know if people are going to be interested, and you can comment right now. Like, if you're only here for LEGO stuff and you do not care about what I'm doing in my personal life, please tell me. That's very useful because I'll just stop talking about it on Duck Bricks. This one's a bit of an exception because obviously it is related to the LEGO Masters prize money and everybody asked me about it, so I had to put out a video. But if you literally couldn't care less, and if you're like, look, I get it, like, I'm just here for the LEGO stuff, I do not care what you're doing, please let me know, because then that will help me figure out what I can focus topics on for videos in the future. But that's not actually all, because that was about, so those two ventures, it was about half of the money, and then the other portion, a small portion, went to taxes. But then another big chunk of the money is actually going to a charity that I really, really am passionate about. And this is a charity that is actually tying back to my own family on my mom's side, my grandparents on my mom's side, and it really ties back to a lot of our family roots. As you can tell, I'm Chinese American. However, I will say that we're pretty far distanced from China. My mom moved to the US actually from the Philippines when she was really young and was practically raised here. My dad was born in New York. He's fully American. I don't speak Chinese. My parents don't speak Chinese, but I have family all over Asia because I have extended family there. So I have family in Singapore where I actually visit often to be able to meet with them. I've got family everywhere. We have family in Italy. We have family in Texas. It's just Lee's all the way down, and Taves and all the other people. But what's really exciting is that I do actually have a lot of family in the Philippines. And there is a charity in the Philippines called Bahay Pasalungan. And what they do is really, really meaningful and exciting. And I feel like a lot of what I do and I really want to do in life is I'm very focused on inspiring kids and kind of having the next generation of builders, of innovators, of creators be able to have the skills that they need to take on that next step. And so what Baha'i Pasalungan does, they're located in Davao in the Philippines, and they basically support vulnerable communities where they provide residential care, they provide education and skills training, community outreach, they advocate against child abuse, and they provide emergency response services in communities in the Philippines, the slums in the Philippines, especially in Manila and Davao, where kids are living in these really poor conditions. And I definitely do want to state that obviously, with my experience growing up here in the US, having access to all the resources that I've had access to, going to a really great high school and college, has really kind of given me a perspective that feels that I do come from a background of privilege. And I definitely realize that. I mean, I am surrounded right now by more Lego than most kids could ever dream of. And I definitely do realize that position of privilege and really do want to give back. And that was why when I won Lego Masters, I said, look, I think I'm in the position in life where, frankly, I've got my hands in a lot of honeypots, and I think that I'm working a lot of jobs, and this amount of money, maybe to me, it's not that, like, not that I'm not grateful, of course, but I feel like it's not a big dent in my life, right? Like $50,000 is, for me, it's like, all right, that's cool. But for somebody else, I could see that as being life-changing, and I think that for a lot of families out there and for a lot of kids, especially living out there in poverty and in certain situations, even just a portion of that money could be life-changing for them. And so what I did is, because I really, really felt strongly about that, I said, well, look, okay, we'll allocate around half of the winnings to startup stuff, because obviously I want to be able to be investing in my future and being able to bring myself to a position where maybe in the future I could open up a Lego museum and inspire kids that way. So I want to be able to make sure I'm succeeding in my own ventures to be able to raise funds for whatever I want to build in the future. But then the other portion of it, like, I really just wanted to dedicate to helping kids living in these environments. And it's especially meaningful to me because it's a charity that my mom has worked with whenever she goes back to the Philippines to work with her extended family. They have members of the family working there. My mom's mother and my mom's father, my grandfather on my mom's side before he passed away, was working on this charity and was donating significant amounts of money to it. And I felt that I kind of wanted to continue the family legacy in that way. And I've done a lot of charity work in the past, especially in high school and college and even grade school. I talked about this a little bit on the final episode of Lego Masters, but I used to fly out every year to the Kangemi slums of Nairobi, Kenya, and teach technology lessons to kids and bring donations, bring food, bring clothing, and teach Lego classes and engineering classes with a Lego mindset, like who can build the strongest bridge or the tallest tower. And that's really something that is very, very important to me and something that I can see myself doing in my life. For the rest of my life, I would love to start a foundation, especially if I'm in the financial position to do so when I'm older, in 10 years, 20 years. Starting a foundation is really, really important to me and definitely on my bucket list for stuff to do. And so I felt that, okay, I've already done so much support and charity for working with kids in Kenya and actually going there myself and teaching lessons. But now let's do something a little bit closer to home and to focus my efforts on the Philippines, because I go to the Philippines pretty much every year to visit extended family. It's a really big part of my life. My mom's parents moved from China to the Philippines, so while we are Chinese, we have family in the Philippines. And so what I did was I was able to actually send some of the money in order to get just food and supplies, first of all, like powdered milk, sugar, condiments, eggs, canned goods, cooking oil, just made sure they had food and supplies to be able to distribute to a lot of kids living in those environments. And it is something super special to me. And what was really touching was that they actually I didn't even expect this. After I sent the donations in, they actually made this banner thanking me or thanking Duck Bricks, and they found these images of me and put it up on the banner, and they sent me that image, and it was just so touching, like seeing Duck Bricks and what we're doing touching the lives of so many people completely on the other side of the world. And I want to do more, and I definitely want to be more involved in charity and donations and my own foundation when I'm older. So this is just kind of the first of hopefully many steps taking in the future to be able to use some of my privilege and use some of the place where I come from being able to raise money for myself and work a ton of different jobs and work myself ragged, making money and basically building myself up to be able to give back. And that was something really important to me, and I'm really glad I've been able to share more about that in this video. And if you want to check them out, I've linked a lot of their links in the description below if you want to learn a little bit more. But honestly, that about sums up what I have done with the Lego Masters money. I didn't really keep any of it for myself, so to speak. The startup, I guess that's something I'm working on, so I guess that is my stuff, and the rest was donated. But because of that, and because of the decisions I've made to really build this out, I've actually positioned myself in a really interesting way to be able to make a lot of big life decisions this year. I think this year in particular, 2024, is going to be one of the biggest years of my life, and I really do need to sit down and think about what I'm working on and my priorities. And I guess that sort of transitions this video to be less about Lego Masters money and maybe more about the future of Duckbricks and the channel and the community. And I'm dedicated to putting out content regularly. I've been doing a video every single day since we started, basically in 2020 is when Duckbricks started in September, October 2020. And I think partway through 2021, I started doing a video every day. I was doing a video every other day when I started. And it's a lot. That's a lot of content. And the good thing is I have content to last me for a while. I have made videos, I've scheduled them to be uploaded, they are ready to go, they are ready to be published. If I were to die today, Duckbricks would live on many, many, many days and months and even years after I die because I just already have content that's scheduled and ready to go. But I am sort of thinking about looking into the future, how does the content output make sense? What sorts of videos should I really prioritize? And also sometimes less is more, right? Like I definitely feel like if I were to focus on better edited videos that take a lot more editing effort, maybe scripting some videos, which I never do. I never script any video unless it's a retold video. But maybe there's a window to play around with, well, what if I didn't do every day? And what if I spent like a week just focusing on one really, really good video and just let that live for a week to really give it room to breathe? I haven't decided on anything concrete yet, but I did just want to float the idea in this video and see what folks in the comments have to say. Like, would you prefer keeping with an everyday video schedule? Would you prefer videos having a little bit more time to breathe? I'm really curious what folks have to say. And I think that leads into another really, really big topic I wanted to at least mention in this video. And that's something that I've been working on for a long time. And I've told a lot of friends, if you've met me at a convention, you probably know this already. But I am probably moving to New York. And my plan is that I'm going to be living there for 2 months this year to see if I like it, to see if it works out. Srisa, my co-founder and my business partner in almost every business I do, is in New York. Obviously, he's working at Jane Street. He can't move. And a lot of the deals that we work on are in New York. And I literally just last week, I spent a weekend in New York having some in-person meetings. And it was probably the most productive weekend I've had in a long time. I met so many people and so many contacts. As I'm filming this video, I fly out to New York. I'm flying back in 30 minutes. I need to leave. I need to leave for my flight in 30 minutes as I'm filming this video. And I've made so many connections there. And I feel like that's where I really need to be to position myself as an entrepreneur, as someone working on startups, as somebody really deeply involved in this finance and business world. And so I'm going to be living there 2 months to really make sure to facilitate some deals and also to just try out what life is like in New York. And Microsoft has been really kind enough to support me with working remotely and my move. And I'm very, very grateful to Microsoft for being flexible in that. And it really does mean a lot. But if I like it, by living there in 2 months, I might actually move there permanently by the end of the year. And that is a topic for a whole nother video. I'm sure the biggest question on everyone's mind is, well, what's going to happen to this when I move? And the good thing is, for the 2 months this year, I have videos scheduled every day where it's going to be like I didn't even leave. Like, videos will come out, I'll be in my collection doing Lego stuff. You won't even know I'm in New York. Sure, if there's a breaking news video, I'll throw up a green screen and I'll be on the green screen talking, and you'll see I'm not really there. But all otherwise, like current stuff, like videos will come out. If I do a more permanent move, things may shift in the channel, and we'll talk about that more in tomorrow's video. But I hope you enjoyed this sort of rambly, very long-winded discussion on what I did with the Lego Masters prize money. And thank you all so much for watching. If you're still here, comment below that you're still watching. Really means a lot that folks are here and supporting me, and I really do appreciate the support and love from everybody watching on YouTube. Life has gotten so crazy and so exciting and so insane over the past few months, really. I'm going out to Denmark in a couple of weeks. Surprise, some cool stuff working on there. And yeah, I mean, just really, really excited for what the future has in store. But thank you all for your support. Thank you for watching. And I hope this video gave you a bit of an insight as to what someone like me would do with $100,000 or, well, $50,000, because Robert had the other half. That's all, and thank you so much. All right, with that, we have summed up my plans for the LEGO Masters prize money and where I've allocated it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning into Duck Bricks, and of course, really, really appreciate everybody's support. Without all of you, I wouldn't have been even able to have been on the show in the first place, and they wouldn't have reached out without the Duck Bricks audience, so it really means a lot. Thank you so much for all of your support, and really appreciate you watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Thanks so much, and bye for now.